49ers have been doing some work in the last few days. Things for 49ers fans to be excited about. What's up, Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen. Thank you for being here. 380 subscribers so far. Thank you so much if you subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Trying to get to 500 by the beginning of football season. You guys can help me make it happen. So the last couple days, some exciting things. But in the last week, you've had 3 big contract extensions. Okay, the big two dropping, not the big two, the big two dropping in the last 48 hours. Okay, George Kittle's was before. Last week you had George Kittle. Yesterday was the Brock Purdy one, or 2 days ago was the Brock Purdy one, and then, or it might have been like on Friday, excuse me, it was last Friday, and then today was the Fred Warner one. And I think all 49er fans can breathe a sigh of relief, just given, you know, how contract negotiations have gone in the past few years. We know that last year, to some degree, those contract negotiations with Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams really set a bad tone and a bad vibe for the rest of the way. That carried over into the middle of the season. So the fact that the Niners front office is handling things different, I don't always want to place all the blame on the front office because it takes 2 to tango. Like Ayuk was going to hold out and get the most money, I'm convinced, no matter what. Unless they were going to offer him like 35 a year, he was going to take that thing into training camp. So it is what it is. I'm grateful for Brock Purdy. Let's start there. I'm grateful for Brock Purdy. It sounds like from the Albert Breer report, who he had some inside info on the negotiation. He dropped an article today. It sounded like Brock, from the get-go, was going to be a pretty good team player with this whole thing, and he got paid. He got paid really handsome. He easily, 49ers fans, just so you know, he easily could have taken this thing into camp and probably could have gotten closer to 60 mil. I imagine that the front office would have caved eventually, and he would have gotten similar to a Dak Prescott deal. He for sure would have gotten the $55 million a year contract that so many quarterbacks have gotten. He settled and took $53 million a year. It depends on how you look at it. Okay, his guarantees are pretty high, but he was like, I just want to get this thing done, and it's a good reflection on him. I don't think that's very surprising at all. Just given what we know about Brock and kind of how he carries himself, he was always going to take the humble, like, let's just get this thing done so I can focus on football kind of approach. Now, I think it's a great deal, but the conversation starts, when we talk about Brock Purdy and his deal, it starts with, do you think he's a franchise quarterback or not? And that's the only question you really have to answer for yourself. Okay, 49er fans, you're all going to say yes. Like myself, I'm going to say yes. That doesn't mean I think he's a top 3, even a top 5. I think his ceiling is probably 5, which is what we saw in 2023 and when everything was going right. I don't think he's in the same tier as Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Like, I don't. Even though there's a lot of advanced metrics that show he plays really, really high-end football and he's better than some of those guys in some of those stats, I think that the eyeball test shows you, okay, he's like a tier 2 guy. And as Guy Haberman always says, he's probably in that quarterback 6 to quarterback 12 range on any given year, which is fantastic. It is the hardest position in sports to play. You have found a guy that can play at that level if he's got enough supporting cast around him. I don't think he has to have the Avengers around him. I think last year he didn't even have close to a real competent team around him most of the time. So I'm not letting last year scare me off of things, okay? So you just got to ask yourself, is he a franchise guy? Is he not? Okay, a lot of non-49er fans think he's not. Then fine, you don't think it's a good deal. You don't think he should get paid. But if you do feel like he is a franchise guy, then this is as good of a deal as you could hope for. This is the going rate for quarterbacks that are believed to be franchise guys. There are 2 quarterbacks in the league right now that make that in-between bridge gap money. It's Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Everybody else is making in that 50-plus range unless you're Mahomes and you got paid 5 years ago. Okay, he's going to get re-upped, whatever, however you want to look at it. You're either getting paid that 50 mil plus or you're making 10 million as like a 1-year prove-it deal kind of thing. Baker and Sam are the kind of weird outliers. Everything about Brock Purdy, all of the statistics say that he's a franchise guy. We don't need to beat this horse to death. Okay, it's the only thing going to be talked about this summer because there's nothing going on right now until training camp. But if you look at all the advanced metrics, it says he is the guy. He's earned the right to be paid like this. That doesn't mean people think he's Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. Okay, but he is a guy who is very high end when things are clicking for him. And that's all you can freaking hope for, guys. You cannot throw away very good players, a very good quarterback, in the hopes that you're going to draft a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow. Okay, it's statistically, you are not going to find those guys. It is not worth it if you have a guy that plays as well as Brock Purdy does. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Okay, you're lying to yourself. Guys, like all the guys that are super excited about their quarterbacks from last year, okay, Jaden Daniels looks really good. If I had to put money, he's not in that top tier. CJ Stroud looked really good 2 years ago, and then last year he kind of came down to earth. I still think he's a franchise guy, but he came back to earth. Okay? Jordan Love had like this amazing 7-game run at the end of his 2023 season, and then he still kind of turns the ball over, and he's only won one playoff game. He couldn't beat the Eagles last year. I know it's fine. They went on to win the Super Bowl, but like, do you understand what I'm saying? There are like 3 legitimate guys, maybe 4, that are like in that top tier, and the rest are just like, okay, he's good enough. If we can get a good enough team around him, we'll win the Super Bowl. We have a chance at least. Look at Jalen Hurts. Okay, no one, except for Philly fans, no one's putting Jalen Hurts in that top tier, but they had a good team around him. Okay, they drafted well, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy's freaking took Patrick Mahomes to overtime. Like, what are we complaining about? People that think he's like a bad quarterback, which is terrible, is a whole different conversation. He's not a bad quarterback, obviously. He is not the reason they didn't win the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, anyone who watches like knows. Look, Brock makes some high-level throws. He hasn't been super consistent. Last year wasn't his most consistent year, but he makes some throws that are like, oh my gosh, ball came out on time, he's getting hit in the mouth, and he's putting the ball on the dot. He does that routinely. He does that quite a bit. So I'm excited that they paid him. I'm very excited that they paid him. And this was always going to be the outcome, by the way. There was never another outcome. And for those of you who didn't want to pay him, what was your alternative? Great, you don't want to pay Brock Purdy. What did you want to do? Were you going to trade him? There was no one to draft. The draft sucks. Maybe Cam Ward is a dude. I'd bet against Jackson Dart. Shadur Sanders fell all the way to the 5th round. So it's fine. You're like, oh, we'll trade him away and we'll draft a guy. Who? The draft is a crapshoot most of the time. You're going to sign Sam Darnold? Okay, maybe. Like, shoot, man. I don't know. I guess if you could have traded Brock for a high draft pick and then signed Sam for $30 million a year. I mean, it's risky, guys. It's risky. He played really well for Minnesota last year, but that team had a lot going for him. I don't know. Maybe that's an answer. But outside of that, there is nothing even in the realm of good possibilities. Okay? And he's like the 7th highest paid quarterback. Guess what? In 2 or 3 years after who's up next, after you've got CJ Stroud going to get re-upped, you've got Jaden Daniels, you have all of last year's class, like it looks promising, like Caleb Williams, Drake May, whoever else, Bo Nix, like those guys are going to get paid, and they're all going to get paid more than Brock because that's how the market works. And all of a sudden, Brock's going to be the 12th highest paid quarterback in the league, and he's going to be playing really well, and you're going to be like, man, it's kind of a bargain. It's kind of a bargain. So anyway, I'm excited for Brock. I'm very excited for him. I'm excited for the team. I'm excited they got this deal done so early. There's a lot of things to be happy about if you're a 49ers fan. Fred Warner gets paid. Deservedly so. Dude played on a broken ankle all last year. For a while, I felt like he was in the defensive player of the year running, and he was balling. Did it on a broken leg, broken ankle, and a piss poor defense that was badly coached, and he still was making plays. Okay, he's healthy now. He deserves to be paid like the best linebacker in the league, which he is, which I think is kind of undisputed. Most teams all over the league tell him he's the best in the league. It's kind of a unanimous vote that he's the best right now. Hopefully he can play at that level for another 2 or 3 years. I expect him to, especially because he'll be healthy this year, and especially because Robert Saleh is going to be back. I don't think anyone can really be upset about the George Kittle signing, the Fred Warner signing, or the Brock Purdy signing, okay? The point of this video is to tell you vibes are high. This is the highest the vibes have been for the 49ers in a long time, and I'm here for it. We can get focused on football. Let's get these rookies up to speed. Let's get rocking and rolling with the easiest schedule in the league, okay? Vegas has our win total, I think, at 10.5. We are favored in all, and we're favored in 15 out of our 17 games. Vibes are high, fellas. Let's see how quick Brandon Ayuk gets back. I'm excited to hear about that. I think he's going to be back soon, man. I mean, he's not going to be back at like the beginning of training camp, but He looks good. In those videos you see, he does not look like he's favoring that knee at all. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how these rookies play. Just a lot of good things going. So 49ers fans, enjoy it. Okay, let me know what you think about the contract. I'm sure there's going to be some non-49er fans that think it's the end of the world for the 49ers because they paid him. His cap hit is like $8.5 million this year. When you look at Chase Daniel put this up on whatever show is, I don't know what their show is called, but you look at the percentage of cap space that Brock Purdy takes up with his contract, it's 19%. That is 12th out of all the quarterbacks right now. He's taking up 19% comes in as 12. Joe Burrow's the highest, I think. I can't remember who else is up there. Dak Prescott maybe is the highest. I can't remember. But, like, guys, this is a very good contract for the 49ers. Yes, it's a lot of money for Brock Purdy, but he's taking you to multiple NFC championship games, took you to the Super Bowl. He's the 8th highest paid quarterback, 7th highest paid quarterback in the league. 19% of the cap, that cap is going to go up. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. The only way it's not a good deal is if you truly think he's just a scrub and has gotten lucky the first couple of years. And last year, like, maybe it wasn't his best season, but look at his numbers. It was not as bad as you look at the advanced metrics. Over the last 2 seasons, he's still number 1 in EPA and whatever. Anyway, it's just good. It's good. 49er fans, be excited. Things are rocking and rolling. We got to get through these dog days of summer. Mini camps will be good. That'll be fun. Get through July, get to the end of July, and we can start cranking this thing up. Training camp battles, preseason, and then before you know it, week 1 will be here. Subscribe if you haven't already. You guys are the best. That's all I got for you. I'm out. Go Niners.